if your neighborhood had a working farm, resort-style pools, miles and miles of trails and sidewalk, athletic gyms, stocked ponds, new construction, and existing homes? Well, that, my friends, would be a neighborhood called Harvest in the Northlake area. Today, I'm giving you a no-fluff tour so you know exactly what to expect before you build or buy. Hey, I'm Brian White with Bluefuse Group at eXp Realty, and my family and I help people like you make smart moves, build wealth through real estate, and protect what matters most. If you're exploring a move to DFW or exploring a move to your next home in DFW, hit subscribe and tell me the community that you want covered next. Harvest isn't just a neighborhood, it's a lifestyle. From top-tier amenities to daily community activities, Harvest is a place that you can really plug in, get connected to the community, and call home. So here's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about everything you need to know to make Harvest home. So we're going to talk about schools, location, what you get for your money. We're going to dive into builders and floor plans available and answer all of the questions that we get from you guys on a daily and weekly basis. And be sure to stay to the end because we're going to hit on some watchouts and some gotchas, some things you need to know before you make your next purchase. Harvest is one of the most thoughtfully developed master plan communities in North Texas. So it was developed, it's owned by a company called Hillwood. They've developed and owned pretty much everything in the northwest corner of DFW. There are a number of neighborhoods that you'll hear us talk about that were developed by Hillwood. The thing about Harvest is it combines kind of the small town charm with master plan community and amenities. When it first got established, I mean, it's been building for a number of years now. To be honest with you, I didn't really like the neighborhood. I thought it was in the middle of nowhere and there really wasn't much going on around it. But now what we're seeing is not only have there been a number of different levels of homes built in Harvest, creates a lot of variety, everything from townhomes and villas all the way up into some beautiful larger lot luxury homes. So there's variety, there's an opportunity for people to move up and down within the neighborhood, but there's also amenities, as in like neighborhood, as city amenities that have been built up. So schools have been built up. We'll talk more about that here in a minute, but there's also some shopping, right? So there's, grocery store right out front. There's a Chick-fil-A, there's a number of different restaurants, and then there's all the things, all the kids, the things for the kids activities. There's going to be an H-E-B. It's not actually in Northlake, but there's going to be an H-E-B just down the street around the corner, which is a really big deal. I mean, a lot of people make their moves based on how close they are to an H-E-B. So that's going to be a really big deal. There are just so many great things about Harvest and the neighborhood. So Harvest's location, just briefly, is right off of I-35W. So it's important. It's I-35W. That means it's just south of Denton and then, 40 minutes, give or take, north of Fort Worth, just depending on traffic. The location makes it really easy to jump right on the highway and get down to DFW Airport. There's a lot of people in Harvest that have kind of traveling sale or traveling executive jobs that need access to the airport. So easy to get to the airport and a lot of places across DFW. The one thing I'll say about Harvest is if you're trying to get down to Dallas, Fort Worth, or really even if you're going all the way over to Frisco, then not going to be the best location for you. Those are going to be either too heavily trafficked or really just take a really long time, and we can help you find a better area. Harvest spans more than 1,200 acres. That's a really big plot of land, and one of the things I mentioned earlier that makes it interesting is there are a variety of home sizes and a variety of builders. So in each section, there ends up being, whether we're talking about the villas or all the way up into the larger out neighborhoods, there are multiple builders. We'll dive deeper into those here in a second, but multiple builders creates variety. It means that the homes don't all look the same, and that's important. They don't all look the same in any individual section. They don't all look the same across all of Harvest. So that variety is one of the things that really gives some neighborhood attractiveness and appeal. As one of the other things that does that is the landscaping. And because the older sections of Harvest have been around for 10 years now, then you're actually seeing the trees have matured. The landscaping is developed. You're seeing flowers bloom. When you drive into the neighborhood, one of the first things you noticed is the huge pond. I mean, it's almost a lake level. It's so large. You see people fishing and you see people playing outside. It's just got an amazing neighborhood feel. And some of that is the maturity. What's great about it is because there is still new construction, you can get new homes in an established neighborhood, which is really kind of the best of all worlds. It's the win-win. You get the new home, the old landscaping, and everybody wins in that situation. You know, the homes are arranged in village-like sections with easy access to green spaces, walking trails, and amenities. That's one of the things that Harvest did really well as they built out over time, is they continued to add amenities. A neighborhood of 1,200 acres, it'd be really easy, and there are others in North Texas for sure, that all of those homes would overwhelm the amenities, but Harvest did such a great job of creating individual villages and individual parks and areas that really, it actually adds to the community, it adds to the number of amenities, and adds to what's available for residents to use. Great thing about Harvest is that variety that I talked about, and variety offers people an opportunity to stay within a neighborhood for their whole life, potentially. There are homes that can be for first-time home buyers. There are move-up homes, and now there are those larger lot luxury homes in the seven figures. So that means that you could feasibly buy your first home there, move up to kind of that transition home, as whether your family is growing, you've added kids, you've added other members of the family, multi-generational living with you, move up, and then as those same kids graduate, move down, move out, then you've got an opportunity to move into a townhome or a smaller home. So it really is one of the neat things. You can do that without having to find different grocery stores, so your kids continue going to the same schools, all moving up and down. So it really makes it part of the community feel. You can keep your friends and your shopping areas and your drive and commute, so everything still feels comfortable and homey to you. All right, so let's talk about the builders and some of the floor plans that they have to offer. So in Harvest, you're going to see a mix of builders. They're going to offer a mix of single and two-story plans. You're going to see a mix of 2- and 3-car garages. You're going to see a lot of homes with some really fantastic amenities, like built-in offices with media rooms and game room combinations. You're going to see a variety of those things, and even some of them that you can customize and add additional rooms and spaces to beyond what's initially part of the floor plan. I definitely wouldn't call them custom. It's a little bit more of a modular option where you can add some features to a floor plan that's already been created. One of the other things you're going to see is that lot sizes and elevations are going to vary quite a bit as well. So in some of the areas, you're going to see that the homes they're just stacked right on top of each other. You've got very much a tight-knit villa-style community, even to the point of townhomes are actually attached. Those are called single-family attached homes, all the way up to larger lots and larger neighborhoods. So when you drive by, you're going to see a lot more variety in terms of the elevation and what the homes actually look like. And it's going to feel more spacious, a little bit more like living out in the country, while still being in a master plan community. Model homes are going to be the best place to actually see the product, to see what homes are going to look like. And then when we make those model home visits, we can have great conversations about, hey, what are the spec homes that you've already started? So spec is short for speculation. That means that a builder started a home, started a plan without having a buyer for it. That means they've already made a lot of the selections and honestly done a lot of the heavy lifting for you. For some people, that's comforting, right? Because maybe they don't have the skills to make all the selections. They don't have the design eye, and that really removes some stress. For some people, that's they love making all the selections. They want to make a home theirs. They want to choose which upgrades they invest in, and what are some of the areas that they want to cut corners. So really starting with a model home tour, seeing what the product looks like, and what homes are available is going to be a great place to start. So let's just touch briefly on who some of the builders are. These are going to be some of the best builders you're going to find anywhere across Dallas-Fort Worth, and honestly anywhere in the country. The first one is Highland Homes. Highland consistently wins Best Builder in North Texas. We've personally lived in a Highland home. Not only was their build quality fantastic, but so was their customer support after the fact. Next up is David Weekley. David Weekley's another Texas-based builder. They do a fantastic job. They've got amazing floor plans and amazing options. You should feel great about David Weekley. Toll Brothers is in the Fortune 500, really big across Flower Mound in North Texas. Lots of customization options. They build a beautiful home. One of the things to be aware of with Toll Brothers is they're kind of famous for putting every upgrade possible into a model home. When you get a contract, when you get into the process, you're going to find out that a lot of things are upgrades. So we just want to make sure that we have that conversation up front, knowing what is an upgrade and what's not, and we'll help you walk through that process. So next is Dries, and Dries is an amazing builder. Not only do they have great floor plans, they have great designs and styles. A lot of the footage that you're seeing overlaying this part of the conversation is actually from Dries Home. So that's one you're definitely going to want to check out. Now, Dries is on the upper end. So Dries, and in many cases, cases, Toll Brothers are going to be on the upper end of the price point, which, I mean, if you're looking at the pictures, you realize that because they are gorgeous and we're big fans. Like I said, the last one is Coventry. Coventry is an amazing builder. They're one of the ones that offer some of the most customization. That's a great conversation for us to have when we get to the model home and really dive deeper into what it is that you're looking for. So let's talk about pricing and what you get for your money. Prices are going to vary wildly from the low end. We were talking about the villas that we've mentioned all the way up into some of the larger lot homes. The other thing that's going to vary greatly is if we're talking about new construction, then right now in particular, there are going to be a ton of builder incentives. Not only are they offering incentives on price, but they're also offering incentives on interest rates. You know, one of the biggest drivers for overall affordability on a home right now is going to be the interest rate. So if we can work with the builder to get your interest rate down, then that can dramatically lower your payments. Now, you need to pay attention, right? This isn't a used car sales sort of deal where we're trying to get you to pay a lot for a home to get your payment low. You do need to pay attention to both things, but right now interest rates are such a big driver of home affordability that if we can get you some help there and help negotiate your rate down, then that is a huge saver for you in the long run. If Harvest is on your short list, then let's build your buyer game plan. We can do that on a quick call that you can schedule in the description, and we'll go through everything you need to think about in terms of lot selection, neighborhood, amenities. We'll give you a side-by-side comparison of your true costs. We want to help you be comfortable and confident when you're making the decision. So schedule an appointment via the link in the description, and we look forward to connecting. So I'm going to dive in, and one of the things I want to talk about is what did homes actually sell for in Harvest this last month. So at the time of this recording, I'm going to give you the numbers from August of 2025. So when I told you that prices vary wildly in Harvest, I very much meant that. So if we look at the sales in August of 2025, and there were 26 of them, so 26 homes sold in August. They ranged all the way from $305,000 all the way up to more than $1.7 million. So homes range literally 4 to 5x from the low end to the high end. Now, that's great because you've got mobility. You can move up and down within a neighborhood, but you do need to pay attention to what area, what builder, what lot size, what elevation, what are the upgrades in a home, because that's a wide variance. Okay, when we're talking about what's available on the market right now, you know, I mentioned earlier what the leverage we've got and how competitive the market is there. So if 26 homes sold in August of 2025, there are actually 98 homes available on the market right now. That means there's a ton of competition. That means if you're buying, you've got a lot of leverage, and we should use it. So let's talk about what's on the market right now. Prices range all the way from $310,000, again, upwards to more than 1.7. Now, those homes at 1.7 are, again, much larger lots, luxury homes on a cul-de-sac. They're beautiful. So wide range, but you've got 98 homes to choose from. So that means that you've not only got pricing leverage, but you've got a lot of options. So we can go see several homes. You can get a very good feel for what you get for your money and make a selection on which one's best for you. Then we can negotiate using all of that to your favor. If you happen to be watching this at a much later date, then we'd love to give you the latest on what's going on in Harvest. We can give you the latest in terms of inventory and what homes are going for to help you get the best deal possible when you buy your home. So one of the hidden price things that you need to be aware of in Harvest and in many areas across North Texas. So be sure and ask us when we're showing you homes. But one of the things is something called a MUD or a PID. That's a municipal utility district or a planned investment development. And really what those are, they're taxes. It's a way for a developer to get government assistance to put infrastructure in. So when they're putting in a new neighborhood, you got to do sewers, you got to get water to the town, and that's got to be paid for. So a MUD or a PID does that. Well, not all neighborhoods have them, and they can be a significant part of your tax bill. That's definitely the case in Harvest. So make sure you're factoring that into your overall cost of ownership. So we talked earlier about some of the lifestyle items, but one of the things I didn't talk about is there's actually a community coffee shop right in the middle of Harvest. It's really adorable. It's an old Victorian home. It's bright yellow. It invites you in from the time you get there. The coffee, the cappuccino, the espresso is awesome, and it happens to be next to the community farm, which are two things you just don't get in most communities. I'm in, and I think you will be too as soon as you see see it. So I touched on this briefly earlier, but to be specific, Harvest in particular is in Northlake on the west side of town, on the Fort Worth side of town. So it's going to be roughly 40 minutes north of Fort Worth. It's going to be 15 to 20 minutes south of Denton. So that's close to two of the largest employment areas in all of DFW. It's just off of 35 West, which is a quick corridor to almost anywhere in DFW. If you go a little bit north, you're going to connect both 35 and 35 East connect, and that gives you access to pretty much anywhere else, Dallas, Fort Worth, and anywhere else you want to go. A lot of people commute from Northlake down to the Westlake and Southlake areas. Those are big financial corridors, and then there are plenty of places farther south between Northlake and Fort Worth that are big employment areas. So it's got ready access to many areas across DFW, including Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. All right, now let's dive in on schools, and that's super important to a lot of our viewers. School zone is going to vary by section, so if schools are important to you, then that's definitely something you're going to want to pay close attention to. Some of Harvest maps to Argyle ISD, and some of it maps to Northwest ISD. One of the things you're going to see in both areas, and you should look at this school by school. We do all of our research on a site called niche.com, but one of the things you're going to see is that in almost all cases, the schools are going to be highly rated. One of the things you see in new construction neighborhoods is parents are actively involved in the school, they're actively involved in the community, and active parent involvement is consistently one of the things that drives up school ratings. I think that's actually, if you go to greatschools.org, that's actually one of the criteria they use to determine what is a great school. Obviously, that impacts the quality of the rating and of the education. So both Northwest ISD and Argyle have highly regarded options for you. Just make sure you're paying attention to the individual school and make sure that works for you. So I should mention that Argyle ISD was ranked the #1 school district in all of Denton County by niche.com. So definitely a great award winner. It's known for academics and athletics. I should also mention that elementary schools. So both Northwest ISD and Argyle ISD both have an elementary school inside Harvest. So when I talk about zoning in different areas, just know that you're not going to have to go far either way. It's just important to pay attention so you know exactly where your kids are going to go. So one other thing you should know is that in new construction areas, it's not uncommon for the boundaries to move. It's not uncommon for the boundaries to move for an individual school or for a school district. So that's just something to be aware of. And so none of this is intended to be a promise of in this particular area, your kids are going to be able to go to this particular school. So it's just something we want to keep an eye on and make sure that we pay attention to. Hey, before we wrap up, I mentioned earlier, thanks for sticking around. I mentioned earlier that there were some builder gotchas and some watchouts that you want to make sure you pay attention to. So let's dive into a few of those now. The first one is lot premium and lot orientation. So in new construction in particular, there are a lot of times where there's a home price and then that home price is separate from the lot. There are a lot of reasons why you might pay a lot premium. It could be a little bit larger lot, could be an orientation, it could back up to a green space or water. There are a lot of reasons where there's a lot premium, and that can be a significant driver of your home price. So just make sure that's a conversation that we specifically have. The other thing that you're going to want to think about is there are lots of reasons why people choose different home orientations. There are, when we're talking about homes that face northwest, east, and south, there are religious reasons that people choose different sections, and that's great. There are heat reasons, right? So we live in Texas, so you want to think about backyards that face west. If your backyard is facing west, you're going to get a lot of afternoon heat. So are there trees? Are there things that are able to block that heat? So something you need to keep track of and pay attention to. We actually prefer for our backyards to face either north or east. Personally, we enjoy that morning sun, and then backyards that face north just tend to get cooler air in the afternoons and evenings. So if those things are important to you, then that's what we choose, and that'd be our advice for you. The next gotcha you need to think about is design center creep. What I mean by that is you can get to the design center and there are some choices to make. I mean, you get to make all the choices. You get to choose your counters, your floors, you choose the upgrades, you choose the wire wiring. You get to choose all of the things. And you get to do that room by room. Right? So you get to make all the selections and upgrades in your kitchen. And then you get to make all the selections in your primary bathroom. And then, let's not even talk about the media room and what are all the things there and the smart home features. And just be aware that you probably don't have to have all the things. We're happy to work with you and happy to help you with what are the things that provide the most value when you're talking about resale. So one of the things we like to tell our clients is that whenever you're buying, we're thinking about, are you going to be able to sell the house? Because you're going to call us in 3, 4, 5, or 10 years, and we want to give you a great experience today and down the line. So let's just make sure we keep an eye on your budget when you go to the design center. One more thing to think about, and that's timeline for your home. So timeline can vary wildly, especially for new construction, right? If we're talking about an existing home, then we pretty much know you're gonna be able to get in that home within the next 30 to 60 days. But for new construction, there are a lot of variables. The first variable is it could be a spec home, and that might be available now. I mean, it might be available literally as soon as you can close. The spec homes, if you're building from scratch, then it could take significantly longer, even up to a year, just depending on the status of the home and really how much customization that you're planning on doing. So there's a spectrum in there between that, right? So the spec homes are available now, fully custom, fully built out. You're making all the choices, could take up to a year. And in the middle are homes, maybe they're already started. There may be some homes that are framed that you can still make some selections. So we're happy to help you walk all the way through that process. But when you need to get into a home, whether it's for getting your kids into schools, you're being relocated, maybe you've got a home to sell and we need to have some flexibility on a contingent purchase. All of those things are factors that are going to affect your timeline. They're going to affect how quickly you want to move. And we can work with you on all of those steps to make it work for you and be seamless. So we just went through a ton of information. So let me give you a quick recap. If you're looking for new construction, a neighborhood community feel with tons and tons of amenities, maybe even some new construction options, then Harvest is going to be a great option for you. If you're looking for wide open space and a more rural feel, or you're looking for urban walkability, then there's some other areas that we're going to want to talk about. If you're thinking about Harvest, then there are some other areas that we're going to want to talk to you about as well. Those being Pecan Square and Canyon Falls, which is just right around the corner. So the first step really would be talk about what's important to you, and we'll help you build a game plan on what areas, what homes, and what builders that you might want to work with. Okay, so if any of those neighborhoods interest you, if you're thinking about new construction in these areas, or really any area across DFW, then give us a call. You can call or text us at 817-835-8999. Before you leave, be sure to grab our North Texas relocation guide via the link in the description. Right on. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Brian White, and we help families make smart moves, build wealth through real estate, and protect what matters most. As always, I want to leave you knowing that God is good, Jesus has forgiven you, you are loved, and everything is possible. We'll see you next week.